Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Mattel Ghostbusters II 4-pack of 6-inch scale figures. This was a Toys R Us exclusive. Ghostbusters did indeed wear these dark gray suits in a few clips throughout the film. Packaging, as you can see, is basically a black and white theme. It's got kind of like a starburst in the background. You also see the Ghostbusters 2 logo in there. There's a sticker that says only at Toys R Us, and then a sticker that says we're back, and then stickers indicating the names of the characters, Stantz, Venkman, Zeddemore, and Spengler. It also says adult collector down at the bottom. The back is actually really fun, and when we looked at the 30th anniversary Ghostbusters figures from Mattel earlier this year, we saw that the packaging for those two sets had something very similar. It says Ghostbusters 2 personnel file, has a Polaroid there, which we saw that image at the end of Ghostbusters 2. Gives you the names of the characters, Ray Stantz, Peter Venkman, Egon Spengler, Winston Zeddemore. There's a little post-it note that says we're back. There is some information here on each of the characters. Ray Stantz, expert on paranormal activity, owns a cult bookstore, designs Ghostbusters equipment with Egon. We think the spirit of a 17th century Moldavian tyrant is alive and well in a painting at the Manhattan Museum of Art. Then we move on to Peter Venkman, hosts a psychic-themed talk show, thinks hairless cats are weird, needs to feel loved and desired. We're the best, we're the beautiful, we're the only Ghostbusters. Egon Spengler, strategic right brain of the outfit, performs advanced theoretical research, invented the gigameter. Ray, we'd like to shoot the monster. Could you move, please? And then Winston Zeddemore, finally. Enthusiastic children's party entertainer, hates gelatin desserts. I do too. Loves New York, and his quote, "It's very potent stuff. We made a toaster dance with it." And then another post-it note, remember to clean desk. Well, yeah, obviously, there's so much stuff on it. But it's just really fun. I love that they did this with the packaging. It's just really great. And then for more Ghostbusters action figures, go to mattycollector.com. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the box. I'm very, very excited about this because I have been wanting this set for some time. And I got it a while back. And it's just been sitting in my closet waiting for the day that it would be reviewed. That day has come. I'm very excited to finally crank these out of the packaging so that we can take a closer look and see what these guys are like. Alright you guys, and here are our boys out of the packaging, and you'll notice that we actually get a Slimer action figure in this set, which is totally cool. They even come with little Santa Claus hats. We'll talk about all that stuff in just a little bit. The date on this box says 2010, so I believe that's when this set came out originally. These were actually repaints of the previously released Mattel 6-inch Ghostbusters figures, which were then retooled for the 30th anniversary figures that we looked at earlier this year. So I'm going to go ahead and get the comparison out of the way. Let me go ahead and bring those guys in. Alright you guys, so on the left we have the Ghostbusters 2 4-pack of 6-inch Ghostbusters figures, and on the right we have the 30th anniversary versions. Most of the parts on the 30th anniversary Ghostbusters over here are the exact same parts that were used on these previously released Ghostbusters 2 figures. The torsos, however, are different, and the reason that the torsos are different is because on the 30th anniversary versions over here, they actually integrated removable proton packs, and of course the Ghostbusters 2 ones don't come with the proton streams. But you can connect them. I'll demonstrate that for you in just a second. But as you can see, we have a huge difference here between the colors of the two costumes. So here we have Ray. You can see that they both share the same head sculpts. However, the skin tone is a little bit darker on the Ghostbusters 2 version. Just looks a little too dark. And they both have that squished head sort of symptom, which just looks kind of strange. You'll also notice that the Ghostbusters 2 version has a little yellow box on its belt. That may be a walkie-talkie, whereas it's painted black on the 30th anniversary version. And despite the fact that the 30th anniversary version has a removable proton pack, they both look pretty much the same. Another thing you'll notice is that the Ghostbusters 2 version has a little clear tube that sticks out from its belt, whereas on the 30th anniversary version, it's more of a yellowish color. Both versions of Peter are unique in that they both have the pant legs untucked from their boots, which is something very unique to his character. None of the other Ghostbusters have that. And like with Ray, you can see that the skin tone on Peter is just a little bit too dark. Other than that, and aside from the different colors of the costumes, and the fact that the Ghostbusters 2 version doesn't have a removable proton pack, they look essentially the same. And then we have Winston here. You can see that it's basically the same thing, other than the costume, of course, being a darker color. Another interesting difference on these is you'll notice that the Ghostbusters 2 version does not have the mustache. It's still sculpted on there. They simply painted over it. But that is accurate to the film. And again, from the back, same thing as we saw with the other two Ghostbusters. Now we have Egon, which, same thing, just different colors Skin is also a little bit too tanned on the Ghostbusters 2 version, and the eyeglasses are done a little bit differently. On the Ghostbusters 2 version, you can see that he's got silver rims, whereas the 30th anniversary version has black rims. You'll also notice that on all 4 of the Ghostbusters 2 figures, we get the Ghostbusters 2 logo on their sleeve, whereas the 30th anniversary versions, of course, had the original Ghostbusters logo on them. Now, I did mention that you could use the proton streams that came with the 30th anniversary Ghostbusters on the Ghostbusters 2 versions, and it connects the exact same way, and you basically just connect them like that, and then you can place him back here, and that's really cool. I'm really glad that you can interchange them, because if I wanted to change out my display, I could put these guys up there instead and still use those very cool looking accessories. Now, like with the 30th anniversary versions, another thing you can do is take the neutrino wands and plug them into the proton pack. So you will see that there's a little tab that sticks out right there. There's a little hole in the bottom of the neutrino wand. So basically all you're going to do is just plug them in to one another, just like that. Now, I did notice that on all 4 of these figures that there is some level of warping apparent from the way that they are packaged within the box, and that's most noticeable here on the Egon figure down there at his legs. It does affect all of them, which is a little bit unfortunate, but they aren't too hard to stand, which is good. Now, these versions of the costumes were featured in Ghostbusters 2 in a few clips throughout the film. We don't see them all that often, but I do think it's a very nice aesthetic, and it is cool that they mixed it up a little bit in the film. And it's especially cool that Matty Collector gave us these action figure versions of them in those costumes. I personally really like the gray. It may not be quite as iconic as the beige versions, but it's a very nice shade of gray, and I think that it works very well on these figures. Now, while it would be cool if the proton packs were removable on these figures, just as with the 30th anniversary versions, I'm okay with them not being, since those other versions already have the removable packs. So Egon does come packaged holding onto the ghost trap, which is very cool because we really didn't get that many of these trap accessories with any of these figures. They're pretty rare, so the fact that the set has one, I think, is very cool, and it's the only one that I have. As you can see, it's very nicely sculpted. It is a little bit on the rubbery side, so the handle is a little bit bent, of course, due to the way that it was in the packaging. You also get the long wire here that connects to the pedal itself, which looks pretty nice. Pretty nice paint applications overall. I do like the metallic silver and the metallic, I guess that's kind of like a copper color. And these are supposed to be wheels, but they do not spin at the bottom. So overall, nice detail on it. You can open the little caution looking doors right there and see inside. There's really nothing to see though, but it is cool that you can open them up. You can also pose your Ghostbusters standing on the trap, which is really cool, but of course this wire is just so mal-shaped that it doesn't orient itself very nicely. Perhaps I might be able to straighten that out with some hot water or something, but yeah, in any case, it's really cool that the trap comes in here. Unfortunately, there's no way to attach the trap to either the belt or the proton pack, which would have been a cool feature, but there's no way to do it. So you do get 4 of these Santa Claus hats, which it's cool. I mean, there was a clip where they were wearing these great costumes in the movie and wearing these hats at the same time, so that's why they come in here. The hats themselves are actually not too bad. As you can see, basically just red and white, but they don't fit all that well on the figures' head. It's a very tight fit to get them on there. If they were a little bit bigger, they would look better, but they're just really tight. So the hats themselves do look a little bit on the silly side. It's just not the best fit, but hey, at least they were thoughtful enough to include them in here. And although I don't think I would display them wearing the hats, at least it's a cool option. Maybe around Christmas time. I can see at that time of the year, maybe I'd throw the hats on there. But other than that, I'd probably display them without them. Now, in terms of articulation, it's essentially the same as what we saw with the 30th anniversary Ghostbusters. You get a ball joint here at the head, and it does get a good range of movement. It's actually jointed there at the neck, where it connects inside the body. You get ball joints at both of the shoulders. Pretty good range of movement there. You get ball joints at both of the elbows. When you extend them, though, they're not going to go all the way straight, just to the way that that elbow pad is in there. Ball hinging at both of the wrists, so you can spin them and move them in and out. It's going to be the same thing with the right wrist. You can swivel them at the waist. You got the typical Mattel style articulation at the hip, so you can do a split with them. It's a little bit restricted here on the left thigh because of this little rubber piece, and then you can move them forward. You get swivels at the thighs, bends at the knees. You can rotate them at the boots, and then you get bends at both of the ankles. So for the most part, pretty nicely articulated. All right, and that brings us to the Slimer figure that comes packed with this set. I'm not sure if I really count it as a figure or an accessory. I guess it is a figure because it is a character, right? But it looks fantastic, and it's on this little clear base, and you basically put it on there because when you get this in the box, the base is just laying inside the box, and then the figure, which it connects right there onto the base, is just in the very center of the packaging, as you saw. And it's got a very nice sculpt. It's kind of like a translucent sort of green. Really like it. Really nice color to it. Really like that clear green plastic. And again, just looks phenomenal. The paint on it is very nice. It's got a lot of character to it. It looks a lot like the Slimer from the film. The eyes are red. It's got a very nice open grin. You can see its teeth and the tongue. Nice detail there on the tongue as far as paint goes. Just all around, I think that this looks very, very cool. And not only that, but it's also articulated. You do get ball joints at both of the shoulders, so you can move them around. You get bends at both of the elbows, and you get swivels at both of the wrists. So how cool is that? They really didn't need to do all this for this figure, but I'm so happy that they did because, you know, it enables you to be able to pose it in different positions. I think that's superb. The base itself is just very simplistic. It actually spins for some reason down here at the bottom. And then you just plug your Slimer figure into it like that, and you can set it on your shelf for display. It's a little bit rickety. It does kind of wobble a little bit, but it seems to be holding up well enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Mattel Ghostbusters 2 Toys R Us exclusive set of 6-inch Ghostbusters figures. All in all, I think this is a very solid set, even though these are repaints of previously existing figures and don't quite hold up to the newer versions that were released for the 30th anniversary, are still very nice. They're very unique in that you get the gray costumes because this is the only way that you can get those. So there's not a whole lot of newness to it. And I think that the designs are very nice. I really like the deep gray color of the costumes. The figures themselves are nice. The skin color is a little bit too dark on them though compared to previously released and then the 30th anniversary versions of these figures. Articulation is great. The accessories, it's very cool that you get the trap in here, and it's really cool that you get Slimer on the display base. If you don't have any of these Matty Collector Ghostbusters figures, then I do think that the 30th anniversary sets are a very good way to go. But if you did want to get all 4 of the Ghostbusters in one shot as well as Slimer, then this set is an excellent way to go. Really like everything that comes in here. The Santa hats, not really necessary. But if you wanted to put them on their heads during Christmas time, you could certainly do that, and it would be just a little fun thing to do. But all in all, it's very nice to have Ghostbusters 2 versions of these characters in my collection. I'm very glad that I purchased them because I really do like them, and I love Slimer too. It's just a very fun set. Great stuff all the way around. Alright my friends, if you enjoyed this video, then I do encourage you to please like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this set. Be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter for the latest in news and updates. And as always, I want to thank you for watching Victoria's Cantina. Till next time, my friends. Bye-bye.